The David Parr house initially had serious damp problems. After these damp areas had been dried out, there was a great deal of specialist lime plastering needed.
The overall aim is to lime plaster this wall, which will be in 3 or 4 coats in the end. So what we're doing today is the first coat, which is the render coat, and we're using haired lime plaster as the first coat. So obviously the issue we have is keeping everything as dry as possible, but lime plaster of course needs lots of water in the background before we can make it work, so we're sort of very carefully wetting down the background just then, and then we apply the plaster. We've done a little bit of edge preparation on the old edges, and then we're carefully applying in fairly small quantities the lime plaster, because we have to be very careful of the historic fabric all around, and especially the painted surfaces above.
Okay, so I'm applying a 5% primal solution, which behaves like I don't want to use the word glue, but it helps the mortar adheres to the edges. And what I will do is, as Simon applies the mortar, it may begin to shrink back because it's very dry here, and we'll just use a fine spatula to push it back in to the edge, because it's important that we get the edge correct.
Between each coat, the plaster must be cross-hatched to provide a key for the next coat. About 4 coats will need to be applied. Numerous walls need to be lime plastered, so there is a lot of plaster to be made up.
Putty comes in one big solid block in a tub. So what he will do now is separate half the bucket, take it out, then mix up the other half into more liquefied, it's workable. So after he's done that, what he will do then is add the kiln dry sand. Once he's put the kiln dry sand, equal amounts, 50-50 it's got to be, done the equal amount of sand, he will then give it a good mix, make sure it's all pliable, make sure it's all ready to use, and then what he'll do then is add the casting plaster, which gives it a kind of a set, because if we don't have a set, we won't be able to finish it because it can stay wet for days. Now, lime has become more popular now because obviously the breathing qualities of it. You can buy obviously the lime paints to go on. There's more and more buildings, especially the older building, you do need lime. We apply one coat to start with, which is your main coat. This fills out the undulations and anything that's untoward. And what we do after that, we give it a few seconds, and then we put a second coat on, which is your top coat. It's always done in 2 stages. It used to be done in 3. Right, there we are. That's 2 coats and 3 trails.
The finished plaster is perfectly smooth and ready for the next stage of restoration. As David Parr said, if you do anything, do it well.